All right, we are about to go live here. If you are seeing this right now, we're just going to give it a few more minutes to make sure that everybody's online. I know there's a little bit of a delay, but we'll get going here momentarily. Thanks for joining us. All right, we're just going to give it a few more minutes here. We're almost ready to go, and we'll get started. Hey, I can see you there, Tiffany.
Cool. Can you hear me too?
I can hear you.
Awesome. Awesome.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Okay. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for our patience. I know that there's a little bit of delay when we do these live calls, so I really appreciate you waiting around. We are getting started now. If you're here right now and you're hoping to find out how to have your own online business, similar to what I've done over the past year, then you're in the right spot. So way to go, you've made it here, and go ahead, get a pad of paper ready and a pen, because I'm going to be providing you with a bunch of things that you're going to want to keep, because today is all about basically what we say in the South. I'm giving you the farm today. So I'm going to give you the information that's highly valuable that most people just don't get unless they have been in an online business before. So today's a special call. It's exclusive, and you were invited because you liked or commented on my videos this week, one or more. So thank you for supporting me on my Facebook site, and this is your gift from me. So I wanted to let you know we also have a special guest on the call today, and Tiffany is on the line. Tiffany, can you pop out and just say hello?
Yes, I can. Hello, everyone. Hello, Cyber World. Thank you. Thank you for having me tonight, Vishon. It's nice to see your face and hear your voice, as always.
Well, you as well. So glad to have you on. And Tiffany is on the Unstoppable Tribe team that I'm a part of as well. And so I wanted to invite her on here because I'm going to interview her later on the call, as long as everybody's internet holds up, right? So I'm going to interview her a little bit later on the call so that you can, hear from somebody other than just me, because I don't work alone. I believe that there's power in numbers, and Tiffany can probably attest to that, because we're part of an incredible group of people that have come together to make our businesses even better. So with that said, Tiffany, I'll be back with you, but I appreciate you being on.
Awesome. Thank you. I'll just hang out here and enjoy.
Thanks. All right, so let me get started. I'm going to actually flip my screen around, and you're not going to get to see my smiling face for a moment, but I'm going to walk through a presentation I put together for you tonight. I feel like it's better if you can visually see what I'm talking about rather than me just speaking to you. So bear with me as I flip my screen around here. All right. If I could get a confirmation that you can see that, Tiffany.
Yeah, awesome. We got it.
Perfect. Thanks. All right, so we're going to get started here, and today the meat of this is how you can build an online business that you can do from, well, anywhere. Myself, I'm from Branson, Missouri, in the United States, so down in southern Missouri. And Tiffany is from Canada, so we'll be talking to her some more too. So but basically, you can do this business if you have a computer from anywhere. You don't have to do it from home. We actually have people within our tribe that are all over the world. Literally, we have people from Australia and let's see, Panama. Of course, we've got Canada. We've got people that are some other places. Oh, we even had somebody that was there from China or Taiwan, I believe. So it's all over, and that's what's wonderful about the internet is literally you can do this from anywhere. So let's get started. So I wanted to propose to you, or the purpose of today's Hangout, and really I want to cover 4 different topics. The first is, why would you want to do an online business? I mean, there's so many business choices out there in the world. Why would you want to go online? So we're going to discuss that, and specifically I'm going to share why I chose to do an online business. And then secondly, what special skills do you need in order to do an online business? And which products and services are the easiest to sell, at least from my own perspective? What are the easiest to sell in an online world? And then finally, I'm going to provide you with the 5 keys to online success. So it doesn't really matter what products or services that you sell online. These 5 keys will help you to be successful online. Does that sound like something you'd like to learn about? I hope everybody's nodding their head. So with that said, I'm going to keep going. All right, so first of all, why online? Well, I wanted to share a little bit of my story, and then I'm going to share a vow and a vision that I have, and then the solution that I found. So I'll flip it back around for this part. Let me just do that here. There we go. So I wanted to share a little bit about my story and how I got started. So about a year ago, I basically was working for corporate America. I had been in the corporate realm for, gosh, all my life pretty much, for 16 years at one particular company. And it was an amazing company. I was happy to work there for most of the time. But over time, as I grew and I built a family, I noticed that I was spending less and less time with my family, with the people that I loved most, my friends, and I just was really feeling the stress and the drain on that. And I started looking back then for other opportunities, but I never could find something that really gave me what I wanted. And what I wanted was a way to work from home and have more time for my children. And I also have a lot of pets, so for my animals too. So I really wanted to have more time for them. Unfortunately, I couldn't at the time find it. I guess I didn't look very hard, but I couldn't at the time find it. And I was frustrated, and it was if the world knew, the universe knew that I needed a change. It's funny how those things happen, because in June of 2013, I got the dreaded call in from the employer I was working for, and they had a bunch of layoffs, and I was one of the casualties. So, luckily I was able to, get a little bit of a severance to keep me going. But from that moment, I knew that I needed to find something different. I didn't want to go back. There was lots of other companies that immediately tried to grab me up, and they wanted me to relocate to this town or that town. And I just, the more I thought about it, even though it would have been the same thing I was used to doing in my life, I knew that I didn't want to go back into that stress hole. And that's really what I felt it was. It was this stress hole where you live, at least for me, I lived my life for my work, and I didn't live my life for the things that I love, such as my children. And I want to share just a small story that really hit home for me, and this is what gave me this passion to find a business. And that was, I remember coming back from a business trip, and this is, when I worked for corporate America, and I was on the road a lot, like 2 weeks out of every month I was on the road. And I came back from a business trip, and my then oldest son, who's now 9, was 3 at the time. And I came home, and I'm at the airport, and here he comes running towards me, and he was excited to see me. I'd been gone for a week, and as he got just about to me, he tripped and he fell and he skinned his chin. And I reached down to pick him up and comfort him, and all of a sudden he got up, he screamed, and he ran the other way right back to my husband, shouting, "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy." And all of a sudden it hit me that he really didn't have a bond with me. He didn't have a connection with me at all, because I was always gone. And it made me realize just how much that I was missing in my family's life by being on the road all the time. So I made a promise and a vow to myself that, when I changed careers, and, as the universe provided me an outlet right away, when I changed careers, that I was going to do something that allowed me more time to spend with my family, and would allow me to do the things that I've always wanted to do with my children, and to travel more, because I really do enjoy traveling, but not without my children. I want to be able to travel with them. And so this opportunity, this business that I began a year ago, has fulfilled all of those desires for me, because I work from my home. I work when I want, although I still work very hard, don't get me wrong. I work hard, but I have time to take my children to school. I have time to pick them up. We go places, we do things. We've gone on road trips this summer, quite a bit actually, and I've been able to still do my work wherever we are. And so it's been a blessing, and that's really why I want to share this with you, because you might be in a similar situation where you can't imagine the stress, of your life right now, and you're looking for another opportunity, be it full-time or part-time. This might be something that you find interesting. So I'm going to go back to the presentation, but before I do, I wanted to, Tiffany, are you still there for me?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Well, Tiffany, you also are in an online business as well, and I was hoping perhaps you could share just a little bit about your background and, what was the catalyst that made you want to have your own online business? Could you do that?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to share a bit of my story. So Bernie, who's my fiance now, I still am not used to saying that word. So we kind of do this together in a team as well. But he's out gallivanting tonight, so he's not around. And we come from very different backgrounds. So my background growing up was always very, we traveled a lot as a family. I never went to university. I sort of fell in love with entrepreneurship at a young age, even though I didn't really know what that exactly meant. But it was something I always felt was something bigger and better out there for me. So I was always a bit of a dreamer growing up. And I remember people saying sort of get your head out of the clouds and, that's not going to make you any money and all this sort of stuff. So after high school, I didn't go to university and I started to travel right away. So I spent a year in Hong Kong, then I moved back home, and then I moved out to a ski resort on the other side of Canada and kind of spent 10 years there just skiing the days away and got my first taste of of entrepreneurship as a dog walker. So I had a nice business out there, but I was still, working long hours and I wasn't making much money. And it wasn't sort of paying the traveling like I wanted it to. I'd work really hard, I'd save up for a couple weeks and I'd go travel and that was that. So I sort of started approaching the ages of 30. And I was almost 30, and I felt all these pressures that society kind of gives you to grow up, to get a real job, to find a husband, to buy a house, or whatever it is, start a family, right? And I didn't have any of these things, and I was getting really confused. And as much as I love skiing and walking dogs every day, I felt like I needed something else. So I kind of moved back to the town that I grew up in, and started trying to find myself or search for these answers that were maybe out there. And again, I felt like there was something different, but I wasn't going to win the lottery. I mean, I didn't even pay the lottery, and the odds of winning the lottery aren't very good anyways. And I started to, anyway, so I came back and worked as a dog trainer, and I got, that's where I met Bernie, actually, in our dog training course. And I thought, I'm going to turn this into that, because I didn't want to go to a job, and I already had a taste of working for myself, and I couldn't imagine going back working for someone else, and helping them make money. And, there's great jobs out there, and some people love their career, and that's wonderful, but I just did not enjoy driving and working 8 hours a day minimum. It was not something that I was ever very interested in. And I always had jobs like a zipline guide and a dog sled guide and all these fun adventurous things, right? So to ever get something in an office for me just wasn't right. And so Bernie and I were dog trainers, and we got together there, and that kind of, we grew our relationship and grew our career, and everything was fun and dandy, but we were still having a lot of trouble getting clients. And Bernie was owning a dog daycare and traveling, again, an hour to work, working 10-hour days, teaching class at night, and he was gone 12 hours of the day. And we were drifting apart. We had no time for each other. We had no time for our dogs, which initially was why we got into that, because dogs are not children, but they're basically our family right now. And we just sort of started to look online, and Bernie was really the catalyst for this. And I was like, yeah, I guess that's what working online is all about. And he found this opportunity, and we're sort of in the same thing under the Unstoppables, and signed up and was like, what do we have to lose? And I'm always completely supportive in what he does, but we wanted the mobility, and we wanted to be able to work from this lovely machine that can connect Canada to Branson, Missouri, to Australia, to New Zealand, and be able to work from wherever it was that we were. And we wanted more time for each other. We wanted more time for our family, that's coming down the road, and to spend with my parents and my friends. And it just seemed to be the answer. And we thought, well, why not? There's all these things out there, and it was just something that helped. So it especially helped our offline business too, which was kind of cool. So the stuff that we sort of have learned through this did help our offline business, which was nice. But then we sort of thought, you know what, it's helped that. If it can work that well for our offline, imagine what it can do for the online too. So we just sort of dug deep and, followed the system, followed the steps. And like you say, you do still work hard. So there's some days where we're up really late at night and we're on the computer and we're doing whatever it is we have to do to make ends meet and to get things done. But, you find the results. And I think the fact that we can do it sitting next to each other, the fact that we can do it wherever we are, is really what attracted us to that whole idea.
That's great. Thanks for sharing your story, Tiffany. And she and Bernie both are amazing. I mean, they're known as the traveling dogs, and it's such a great thing because there's so many people that they hit that are also dog lovers, and that's one of the things I really adore about you guys, is that you've created this kind of rabid following of dog lovers, because what you do is so unique and so wonderful. So I'm glad you're on the call.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks again.
All right. So I'm going to continue with some extreme value, because that's what we want to provide for you today, is extreme value. Lost my sound there. You still hear me? Give me a thumbs up. Yep. All right. What I'm going to show you now is some additional information, and I'm going to flip back to my slideshow here. Right, this is what made me think that I really should be doing an online business. And so I want to just start with here. Right now, and I got this data for the year 2014, current estimations say that there are 7.2 billion people in the world right now. which obviously that's huge, and it grows exponentially every year. But of the 7.2 billion people in the world right now, 2.8 billion have internet access today. That's almost 40% of all the people in the world have internet access. And that is continuing to grow. I don't know if you've been following the news with droids and things like that, and they're talking about putting things out in space, satellites and whatnot, to help provide internet for even more people in the world. And so basically, with an online business, the entire world becomes your marketplace, which to me means that you have unlimited opportunity. And that right there means that this is a business that's never going out of style in my lifetime. And it really excited me. And the other part of that, and this is what this is why I put this on here, is Facebook alone. Facebook has 1.3 billion active users, and this data came from the month of July for 2014. So that is 46% of the people that have internet access. Almost 50% of everyone that has internet access is on Facebook or active on Facebook. And why is that so important? Because here's some extreme value for you. What if you have an online business and you can actually promote your business on Facebook? I mean, let's think about that. You're hitting 1.3 billion, or you have the potential, I should say, to hit 1.3 billion active users. It just blew my mind. So, I mean, even if you hit a very small, tiny portion of that, you have an unlimited supply of potential buyers of your products or services. So, copy that slide down and write that down, because if there's ever a doubt if the online industry is a good industry to go into, this to me is proof alone. All right, so one of the questions I get a lot from people who hear that I do this crazy online business from home and do all this stuff is, what kind of special skills do I have? And were there special skills that are necessary in order to start an online business? So I'm actually going to start off with the special skills that you don't need. So the ones that people often think you need in order to have an online business, they think you need to be a computer expert, or a programmer, or a developer, or that you need to have web design experience, or you need to be a graphic designer. And I'm here to tell you that you actually don't need any of those skills in order to be successful online. And I'll explain more as to why that's so, but let me tell you the skills that you do need. You do need to have a willingness to learn, tenacity, which means never give up attitude, and you also need self-discipline. So self-discipline is really key, because when you work from home, it's different than working in a regular office, because when you're in a regular office setting, you often are motivated by your boss or other people around you. But when you're working from home, you really have to set your activities and your daily action plan. Otherwise, you won't be successful. And then finally, you need to be resourceful. Resourcefulness is key, and that kind of goes back to those skills that you may or may not have. Obviously, let me go back that slide. If you have these skills, if you're any of these things, a computer expert, programmer, etc., that is a benefit, of course. But if you don't, here's a little secret. There are places online where you can actually hire somebody on contract for $5 in order to build you a website, or a web page, I should say. And you can pay a little more to get a whole website. And you can also get them to do different things, your graphic design work for you. There's even places where people can write content for you. And you just have to be resourceful, because the beauty of working on the internet is basically you have the internet at your fingertips, and you can use the resources that are there in order to grow your business. And this is something that I teach to my students is, how do you get information, or how do you get things done? I actually have a step process that I walk them through on, where they can get the information they need, or the resources they need, in order to build their business and become more successful. All right, and then I did want to share this. one of the most important skills that you need is you do need the internet access. You need the ability to use the internet, because this is, after all, an internet business. And you also need to be able to watch videos, because a lot of the training, such as the one you're watching today, are all videos. And then finally, you need to be able to take action. If you're one of those people that, you know, you research and research and research things and you never actually take action, then you're not someone that should do this business, because in order to be successful, you have to take action on a regular basis. Even if you don't have all the information, it's better to take action, and if you make a mistake, you can correct it as you go, than it is to not take action and collect every single bit of information. So if you take only one thing from this call, I hope that you take away that it's important to take action. All right, so one of the questions that I get as well is, what exactly do I do? And I just want to go back, and I'll do the little, I'll show my face here. But basically, you do one of two things if you're online. You either sell products or you sell services. Those are the two things that you do. So let me flip back over, and I'll show, and I'll talk to you so you don't have to look at my slide presentation there. There we go. So, you're either going to sell products or services. And the beauty of the internet is, I mean, literally, you can sell just about anything online. If you've been online for a while, you know that. You can go out and do a search, and you can find almost anything now online. I mean, just go out to Amazon, and you'll see a million things that you can do. Well, the thing is that for me, personally, I did not want to sell lotion. I call it lotions, potions, pills, or pendants. And people, if you sell those things, I don't want you to feel like I'm offending you. Basically, this was my choice. I didn't want to have a bunch of inventory in my home. And the other thing I didn't want to do is I didn't want to have to go out to my friends and family and have home parties and things like that. That just wasn't something I wanted for my business. And so, that's one of the things I don't sell. So what is it that I do sell? Well, I offer a suite of digital products, services, and coaching that helps business owners sell more lotions, potions, pills, or pendants. Isn't that beautiful? So basically, I have a whole suite of digital products and services that I can sell to anyone who has their own business. Or here's something cool. Let's say that you would also like to do the same thing that I'm doing. You'd like to have the same suite of products, services, and coaching that I have. I actually train my team and as my students on how they can do that. So it's just a beautiful system, because the suite of products are amazing. And I actually have another business, an offline business that I do, and that is I'm a martial artist. And some of you have been following my post, and you know that. But I have my own karate studio, and I actually use the same suite of digital products in order to help promote my martial arts studio. And it's really helped. I've gotten, this day and age, people don't find your brick and mortar business in a newspaper or magazine as often as they do online. And so most, if not, I'd say 99% of my new students that come to my karate dojo are finding me from my online ads and advertisements, which to me is amazing. And so I'm using the same tools that I have in order to drive traffic to my brick and mortar business. All right, I'm going to flip back, but before I do, I wanted to bring Tiffany back out again. Tiffany, if you're still there, what I'd like to ask you is tell us a little bit about how you've integrated what you've learned from the products and service that we offer into your offline business.
Yeah. Oh, I love that you're doing that too. I love that you run a dojo and are so badass like that. It's pretty awesome. The marketing was huge for us, and I think the Facebook marketing that came as one of our sort of products in there really, really taught us on how to reach out and find our niche and kind of focus down on that and on the sort of target area. And obviously, with dog training, which is what we're teaching, we do dog training and adventure classes for dogs, so things like biking, camping, swimming, and all sorts of fun stuff. But you could literally narrow it down to a specific target of people that you wanted. So we were getting really, really, really good success on, like, our classes were suddenly full, and it was the same. We weren't wasting money on sort of newspaper ads or, you know, word of mouth is great in our industry and probably the same for you as well, but it takes a while for that to happen. We were getting instant results with all the stuff that we were learning, which was super awesome. And we didn't have to go out and, you know, try and talk to people, because especially in the dog training industry, you know, you can use your dog as an example, but it's really hard to go out and see someone and be like, oh, do you need dog training? Because they're either insulted because they think something's wrong with their dog, or it's just a really sensitive subject with people. So when we learned all this stuff about shooting video, about creating a blog, and we're able to put that out there, people were able to come to us and find us. They could figure out our personalities a little bit better because we had video and blogs. They got our sense of humor. You know, the word of mouth spread, and then it was easier for them to access us by either sending us messages, emails, giving us a phone call. And then just a lot of reminders of confidence and personal development. And I think a lot of people are scared of that word because, again, it kind of hits home and they're like, well, there's nothing wrong with me to develop. But when you start to sort of find those tools, you know, that people are sharing in this network, you really start to get more confident and start to get sort of comfortable with where you are. Remember that whole reason on why we got into doing what it is that we were doing, right? And then again, this network, you just have all these people that you can call, and no one else on our team is dog trainers, but that isn't even the fact that everyone else has businesses, so we can all chat about whatever it is, and it's probably better than getting a bunch of dog trainers in a room together anyways. But, you know, we have this huge support system where we can say, well, what worked for you? Like, what the heck did you do to get that? And, you know, you just kind of fine tune to what you're doing, and you're always learning, and everyone's there to support you. No one's there to sort of pick apart or not answer your questions or spoon feed you either, which I love, because I do need a challenge and I like to learn things on my own. So there's a nice balance of people, you know, helping you and pushing you along, but also not doing everything for you, if that makes sense.
That's awesome, Tiffany. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, and also, like, because we travel a lot too, and we like to do stuff with dogs kind of around the world, and starting these classes, like last time when we had an event that we went to in DC last year, we like reached out to people in DC and we ended up doing a few dog training seminars at people's stores. So again, just having that accessibility and understanding how to use it, and not always spamming and bothering people, but putting the stuff out there so that they can come find you. So it's been a huge, like, 180 for our business. We're no longer sort of struggling to fill classes and eating spaghetti every day, so it's nice. Not that there's anything wrong with spaghetti.
Sure. That's great. All right, so I'm getting ready to jump into the meat of what I brought you all here today, and that are the 5 keys to online success. Would you guys like to hear how to have online success? Well, I'm hoping everybody's nodding their head because I'm getting ready to give it out right now. So I'm going to flip on over to the slideshow again. Right, this is what I said earlier. I thought you might want to copy that down. So basically what I offer is a suite of digital products, services, and coaching that helps business owners sell more lotions, potions, pills, or pendants. But any business really, not just those. All right, and you know, before I dive into my 5, I did want to say Tiffany brought up, you know, some of the products that we actually have access to are more on the mental side of, you know, preparing yourself for success, and one of which are a series of audios. So they're basically empowering audio files that you can listen to, and it really has helped to shape me and my mindset to lead me to success. Because prior to that, I had this block that I could actually be successful online. But I literally listen to these audios all the time, and, you know, I often have them on when I'm working out and practicing my art. And, you know, so that alone has been a huge boon to helping me grow my business. So let's get into the meat here. The 5 keys to online success. So the very first one is to know your target market. And what I mean by that is if you are online, you don't want to be a mall, you want to be a specialty store. And basically what that means is if you're trying to market your business, whatever business it is, if you want to market the same services that we have, you don't want to just throw it out there to every person that's online. You want to specifically hit people that you would like to work with. And for me, that was people that are like me. I'm a mom. I'm 40 something. I have kids. I enjoy fitness and the martial arts, and so I really focus on people that enjoy those types of things. And I also, I enjoy inspiring living. So I look at a lot of inspiring content and videos, and I like to share that. And so I'm looking for people that have that positive, outgoing mindset as my target. I'm not hitting everyone, and primarily I'm hitting a certain demographic, as you can see. And Tiffany, you obviously are hitting more of a dog market. People that, and I'll just toss it back over to you again, and you can share what you're doing.
Yeah, definitely a dog market for offline, and same with our online. We sort of have a couple of markets. Now that we sort of understand what we're doing, we have a couple under our umbrella, but it's super important to start with one target market and stay focused. I think something when I started that I always found myself is I had this fear that I was going to miss out on someone else. And so I'm like, well, what if there's this one person over here that's not in my target market that wants to find you, right? And it doesn't really work like that. As you showed before, the world's an enormous place, so you need to really know what your target market is and establish that, and you will people will find you, and you will get a couple from here and a couple from there, but you need to stay focused on what you're doing, because otherwise it looks like you're driving all over and no one even really gets it.
Awesome. Thanks for that. All right, so number one, knowing your target market. And for me at least initially, I was not really sure who my target was, and it took some help from my own mentors to really narrow that down. And so, if you're planning to go into an online business, I encourage you to, reach out to myself. You can also reach out to Tiffany or anyone from our tribe, and talk to them and ask them, how did we come up with our target market? And I actually have a step program that I walk people through to help them narrow down who their target is or should be for them to have the greatest success. All right, let me go to the next one. The next one is to generate traffic. Well, what does that mean exactly? It means list building. So here, if you haven't heard this before, the key to having online success is capturing emails and getting more eyeballs on what you're doing. So how do you do that? Well, obviously, you need to be marketing yourself. If you have an online business and you're not getting much business currently, it's probably because you're not marketing. And for me, I dedicate 30% of everything that comes in goes back out and pushed into my marketing campaigns. So, this is something you've got to do on a regular basis, is generate traffic. And we do start talking about this with my students about the whole process of a sales funnel. And basically, in a nutshell, think of a funnel that you would pour water or something into a glass. It starts at the top, and in that funnel, you're going to get the most eyeballs that are looking at it. But as it goes down through the process, you want as many people to come into your funnel, and then from there, you start honing down the ones that are actually interested and are a good fit for your business. And so, if you don't have constant traffic flow into your funnel, it dries up, and then you don't get any new business that comes in. And although you can continue to get sales from existing customers, after a while, they're tapped out. And you really need to continue to grow and add new traffic into your funnel. And so one of the things we teach you is how do you grow that list? How do you collect emails? And I did allude to this earlier. Part of it is through Facebook. I use Facebook a lot in order to reach more people. As we discussed, there's billions of people who are out there. So I can help teach you that as to how you can utilize Facebook. And if you're watching this right now, you came to this special training because of Facebook. So it just proves that this is a very important tool for generating traffic. All right, I'm going to go to the next one. The next one is to provide value. So I'm sure you've probably met people like this who they're always in sales mode all the time. So it's sell, sell, sell. And usually if somebody's like that, you instantly get turned off and you don't want to really even listen to what they have to sell. You just feel like they're always trying to, scam you with something. And I don't like that feeling, and I'm sure you don't as well. And my goal is to provide good content for people, information that can help them in their business, and help them to grow. And in the case of my martial arts company, to help them to health-wise, so that they can be healthier and protect themselves. And so I'm constantly providing value. Now, if there's somebody out there who happens to want more information about the value I've provided, then I would share with them what I've got. And one of the best ways to provide value on a regular basis, and this is kind of a huge tip actually, is to have a blog. And if you don't currently have a blog for your business, I highly recommend having one, and here's why. One reason is a blog actually is a great way to get more traffic to your site, because most people, when you have a website, it's static and it's not updated on a regular basis. Whereas a blog, and ideally you want to be adding new content to your blog regularly, a blog is going to help drive more traffic because the search engines like things that are constantly being updated. So that's one good benefit. The second thing that's awesome about a blog is that it provides a way for people to know, like, and trust you. And you don't want to do something salesy on your blog. You want to provide valuable content or educational content that's entertaining and that people want to read, that are part of your target market. So this is a great tip for number 3. We're going to go to number 4. The fourth thing you need is the ability to convert leads into sales. So how do you do that? Well, the best way that I've found to do it with an online business is to start emailing that list. And initially in step 2, we were generating traffic, we're collecting emails, and now you have the capability to email those folks. You can send them out a copy or a link to your blog. You can send them valuable information. You can share with them different hangouts or coaching calls that you have. And by doing that, you are letting them know what you offer, and you're inviting them to be a part of your business. And what happens is you create these fans who can't wait to hear from you. And over time, and it takes on average, here's another thing you can write down, it takes on average 7 touches, so 7 times for somebody to actually make a commitment or a sale. But once they do, they become your fans. They are just, they're after you because they associate with you, they know you, they like you, they trust you, and it's a great way to convert those leads into sales. So that's your 4th thing. The 5th is to have a mentor. And for me, this was the missing piece, because prior to having this online business, I had dabbled in some other online businesses, and I really didn't have a mentor. I just kind of did it on my own in the School of Hard Knocks, and I never could get over the hump of actually making the type of income I wanted or having the type of business I wanted, until I started associating myself with mentors. And I found many mentors just within our own Unstoppable tribe, such as with Tiffany and Bernie, and there's many others that are in our group that we've become friends. We get together, it's like we've known each other for years. And by having these people as mentors who are also in an online business, it's really helped me to see other opportunities, and also to learn new ways to market my business, convert leads, and even blog content. I've gotten some great blog content just from hanging out with all of my mentors. So if you don't have a mentor, I highly recommend getting one. And whether or not you choose somebody like myself or Tiffany, definitely seek out somebody who's already having success in what you would like to do for your business. That's the key. And I'm going to flip back over to me because that was kind of my last slide, so give me a second here. There we go. So what I'm trying to say is that without a mentor, you're really kind of dead in the water. And for me, that was just the lift that I needed in order to be able to take my business to the next level. And there are people out there that are far better at doing certain things online than I am. And I'm not good at everything, just as none of us are good at everything. And that's what the benefit of having mentors. They can help you find things that, find ways to accomplish things that you're not good at. They can help you find resources or think of new ideas to accomplish a similar task. So that's really why I think it's so important. And what I wanted to say too, and this is more of a mindset thing, one of the stumbling blocks that I had initially was there were family members who they didn't quite understand why I didn't want to go back into corporate America, why didn't I want to go and get what they call a real job. And so that's where it really came. It was really important to have a mentor that I could talk about my hopes and my dreams and my goals and my vow to my children and my vision, because they saw that and they've accomplished that. And they already had success in that. And by following someone who's already had success, it will help you so that you stay focused and that you continue on your path, because it is possible. And I'm going to hand it back to Tiffany. Tiffany, do you have any more words of wisdom you'd like to share with us about the business and the importance of mentors and things?
Yeah. Oh, that was so great, Rashawn. Like, I'm always taking notes, and that's the thing. Like, yeah, you never stop learning. So I got some great notes and some great reminders, because it's always good to refresh too. Let me just see what I wrote. So I'm saying, yeah, like list building. Lists are the keys to every business. And it's so important to do that. And even in our offline, right, we've kind of applied everything that we've learned about list building for online business. And now we kind of have these nice lists for offline business too, which are separate. But, it also, and Vishwan also teaches you to nurture that list and sort of take care of that list, right? So they are happy there, and you're sort of building trust through them, because that's essentially what working with someone is all about. And then with converting, let's see. Oh, I love that average of 7 touches to make a commitment or a sale. That was cool. I like to hear that, because I didn't know that, and I'm like, oh, okay, because sometimes you get really anxious, right? And you're like, oh, like, I want to do this, and it's like, no, you have to have patience too. And I think some people, well, you probably have better patience than me with your background a little bit in martial arts, where sometimes it's taken me 30 years to learn patience, but it's a wonderful thing to have. And you're right, you can never ever be perfect, but you can always be better. And that was something that I read in this book once. I'm diabetic, so I have this kind of funny comical book about it that kind of is lighthearted rather than being all serious about diabetes, and it's called something about always be better or whatever. I can't remember the title is, but that's like something that they repeat through that whole book, and it's something that always sticks with me. I think we have such pressure to be perfect, and especially as women sometimes, and it's like you're never going to be perfect. Nobody ever is, but you can always be a little bit better. So I think that's a very good point for people to focus on. And that mentor thing is so important, and it is really cool to think of how many mentors we do have, and everyone has something different that they give you. But I think this whole group that we're associated with now is just positive, and they make you feel better, and that's ultimately what a mentor is. And I sort of fell into a trap a while ago with Bernie and I, someone who we thought was a mentor, and maybe the first time we kind of started using the word, and because this person was doing what we wanted to do, and because they were sort of teaching us at this time, and this is years ago. But, we were getting yelled at, we were getting put down. Sure, you have to build people up sometimes, but the more that we spent time with this person, the more I was like, what is a mentor mean? Like, I was so confused and so blurred on that vision, and I was like, we're getting treated like crap. We're getting pounded, and we're never told that we're doing things right. And there was a lot of stuff that they weren't good at, that they couldn't guide us in when we needed that, when we needed that advice. So I think that is the importance of having a couple of them, and of finding the right mentor and really understanding what that is. So when we got into this and found, our current mentors, which again is sort of a whole bunch of people, but we have the ones, the Unstoppable Leaders, and Bernie and I are like, this is what a mentor is, and that kind of made us ready to be mentors for other people too. And you learn those skills. So really making sure that you're comfortable with who your mentor is, and it might take a bit for you to find one that you think. You might be like, oh, that's a cool mentor, and then start to learn stuff, and then you're like, oh, maybe that's not for me, and that's not a good or bad thing, right? But you really have to be sure of that, because we had that terrible experience, and some stuff did make me stronger, but it wasn't a very nice thing to go through. So we're so thankful for finding that, and that is a huge, 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 huge piece to all of this. So thank you for talking about that.
Thanks again. I appreciate it, Tiffany. I'm glad you're on the call today. So I'd like to leave everybody who's stuck with us through the Hangout tonight. I always like to leave a special bonus for the end. So this is your special bonus, and just you guys that hung out with us for the end, you get this special bonus. So what I have is I actually have a white paper, I call it, but it's a document that helps walk you through finding your vision. Because really, that's the key to starting a new business. You need to know if this is really going to be a good fit for you. Does this fall into your vision for life? So it's only a 10-question process, but it's very intuitive. So you're going to want to, don't be stressed out when you do it. You want to get to a point, take a nice shower or hot bath before you answer the questions. And I want you to go through them step by step and really answer them from the heart. And then read through them. And if you find that having your own online business where you can work from home and live anywhere you want is something that fits into your view of your future, then I encourage you to reach out to me. You can click on the button below in the Hangout, or reach out to Tiffany. And Tiffany, what's your website? If you want to shout out to everybody that's on the call, what's your website?
I was muted. It's thetravelingdog.com with 2 L's. I think that's
thetravelingdog.com. Great. So definitely you can reach out to any of us, and I just want to encourage you to really sit down and take that. So how do you get this document? You're probably saying, okay, this sounds great. Well, all you need to do, and you can see below that there's a chat box. You can just write in the chat box that you would like to have that, and I'll send it out to you. And otherwise, if you want to contact me on Facebook, since all of you that are here were invited by me on Facebook, you can message me and I'll send that out to you. And one other thing I want to tell you that I've learned since I've been in this business, to have an online business, it's really only 2 things. It's psychology and math. Okay, what do I mean by that? Well, basically, you've got to have the right mental attitude in order to be a success. Not only that, you have to know the psychology of your best customers, your target market. If you know who they are and what their biggest pain point is in their life, then you are one step ahead of 99% of all business owners. Because then, if you know that pain point, then you can provide them a solution to their pain. And that's really what people want, and that's your greatest gift that you can provide anyone, is a solution to their pain. And where does the math come in? Well, the math is really all the technical side of it. How do you build that online business? What are the technical aspects of it? How many people do you need to come into your funnel in order to create 1 sale? How many do you need if you want to create 10 sales? That's the math part of it. If you have both the psychology and the math together, there's literally, in my opinion, no way you can fail. But if you're missing any part of it, it doesn't mean that you have to ingest all that in your brain, but what you need to find good people that can help you with the parts that you're weak at. And if you find that, now you have a system that you can put into place, and you can literally start printing money out of your computer. And I'm not kidding. Now, obviously, see our income disclosures. You can see there's an income disclosure below. But I want to share with you that of all the lessons I've learned in the past year of having my own online business, I've learned that without the psychology and math, I fail every time. But once I had that in place, things started to work. So with that, Tiffany, did you have anything else you wanted to share before we hang up today?
Yes, I just wanted to thank you so much for having me on here. What you just gave them, your little white paper, whatever you call, that's like essential. So I can't even believe you gave that out. It's such a great way for people to get started. So I really appreciate you, and you're always full of information and value, and just you're so true to who you are. So I just love listening to you talk, and love hearing your stories and seeing all your videos of your kids that are super adorable running around, and watching both of your businesses grow. So I'm really looking forward to seeing you in person in Orlando as well. And I just can't thank you enough for having me get to share my story and chat a little bit tonight. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, well, thank you, Tiffany. I appreciate your kind words. And, you are amazing, amazing woman, you and Bernie both. And I can't wait to see you in Orlando as well. And for those of you listening, you're probably wondering, what is Orlando? Well, basically what we're going to be doing is we are having a mastermind. Some of you may have followed me online before, and we did one in New Orleans and Charlotte, and now I'm going to be attending the one along with Tiffany in Orlando, Florida here in October. And that's the week of October 19th. And if this sounds like something that you would really love to be around, a bunch of entrepreneurs who do online businesses and have a heck of a good time, then reach out to me or reach out to Tiffany, and we'll be happy to get you in contact with how you could be part of what we're doing. So with that said, have a wonderful evening and have a great Labor Day weekend. And I'm so glad you joined us tonight. Make it a great night. Bye.